As Syrian forces took up position near Sweida on Sunday, the government announced Bedouin fighters had withdrawn from the city. Local residents described a tense calm in the area after days of violent conflict left hundreds reported dead. It began with factional clashes between Bedouin and Druze fighters, before Damascus sent in government troops, which were then accused of attacking the Druze. This prompted Israel to launch airstrikes at the Syrian forces as it declared support for the community. A ceasefire was agreed on Saturday, but gunfire continues to ring out, prompting President Ahmed al-Sharaa to urge all parties to respect the truce. The government said on Sunday that following deployment, clashes had been halted and Bedouin fighters cleared from the predominantly Druze region. This bloodshed underscores the challenge al-Sharaa faces as he tries to stitch back together a country of different sectarian and ethnic groups, which has seen 14 years of conflict. US envoy Tom Barrack said Syria is at a, quote, critical juncture where peace and dialogue must prevail.
The Trump administration said on Saturday it will take action against Mexico after the Mexican government cut flight slots and forced cargo carriers to relocate operations in Mexico City, affecting U.S. airlines. The U.S. Department of Transportation, or DOT, alleges the decisions made in 2022 and 2023 violate a bilateral air agreement. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said in a statement, if the Mexican government fails to address U.S. concerns over those decisions, the DOT could disapprove flight requests from Mexico, the most popular international destination for U.S. airline travelers. Then President Andrés Manuel López Obrador had argued that the capital's main airport was too crowded. He said another airport in Mexico could handle the extra traffic. The DOT also proposed to withdraw antitrust immunity from Delta Airlines' joint venture with Aeromexico to address competitive issues. Delta described the department's move as unprecedented regulatory overreach and said it would, quote, cause significant harm to consumers traveling between the U.S. and Mexico, as well as U.S. jobs, communities, and transborder competition. Aeromexico said it was preparing a joint response to the order, which it plans to issue in the coming days.
I express my deep sorrow for the attack by the Israeli army on the Catholic parish of the Holy Family in Gaza City. This act, sadly, adds to the ongoing military attacks against civilian population and places of worship in Gaza. Once again, I call for an immediate end to the barbarity of war.
Alla comunità internazionale rivolgo l'appello a osservare il diritto umanitario.
I appeal to the international community to observe humanitarian law and respect the obligation to protect civilians, as well as the prohibition of collective punishment, of indiscriminate use of force, and forced displacement of the population.
Ai nostri amati cristiani medio orientali dico:
I call on to our beloved Middle Eastern Christians. I am close to you in your feeling of helplessness in the face of such a dramatic situation. You are in the heart of the Pope and of the whole Church. Thank you for your witness of faith.
per la vostra testimonianza di fede.
As torrential rain in South Korea eased on Monday, the devastation was clear after days of severe wet weather triggered floods and landslides. Authorities say at least 18 people are dead and multiple people are still missing. The resort town of Gapyeong, 38 miles northeast of the capital Seoul, was hit with nearly 7 inches of rain in just over 17 hours on Sunday. 2 people died and 4 were missing after a landslide engulfed homes and floods swept away vehicles, as of Sunday, the Ministry of the Interior and Safety said. Local restaurant owner An Kyun-bang recalled her narrow escape as the river swelled.
The ground just sank beneath me and the water rose all the way up to my head. Luckily there was an iron pipe nearby. I held onto it with all my strength. I've been running this restaurant for 10 years, and what is this? Several refrigerators were washed away by the flood. What am I supposed to do now?
An uncertain future awaits her and her town that saw a record amount of rain in a single day. Across South Korea, rain has damaged nearly 2,000 public structures and over 2,200 private facilities, including farms, the Interior Ministry said. While the rain has eased, the National Weather Agency has now issued a nationwide heatwave watch. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung has ordered a thorough response to the disaster, his office said. Lee, who took office in June, has promised to make the country safer and to prevent repeats of disasters in recent years that have often been blamed on the inadequate response by authorities.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday told NFL team the Washington Commanders to change its name back to the Redskins or face potential action. The American football team dropped the name Redskins in 2020 after decades of criticism that it was a racial slur, with links to the U.S. genocide of the indigenous population. The team moved its stadium from Washington to neighboring Maryland in 1997. But earlier this year, the team reached an agreement with the District of Columbia's government to return to the city, with a new stadium expected to open in 2030. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said, quote, "I may put a restriction on them that if they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins and get rid of the ridiculous moniker Washington Commanders, I won't make a deal for them to build a stadium in Washington." The president has, on other occasions, called for a return to the name Redskins, as well as for the Cleveland Guardians baseball team to once again adopt the name Indians. But Sunday was the first time he added that he could take official action. Trump has limited authority to intervene under the current home rule law governing federal oversight of D.C. However, he has raised the prospect of taking more control, telling reporters in February, quote, "I think we should take over Washington, D.C." Representatives of the Commanders did not immediately respond to a request for comment.